Okay, I'll call to order the Public Utilities Commission meeting for Tuesday, December 10th, 2024. Roll call.
Alrighty, Joyce Hall,
Here.
Tom Bystricky,
Here.
Susie Corum,
Here.
Dave Preisel, Scott Snyder,
Here.
Pat Nolan,
Here.
and did you say Andy Hayes?
Yeah, pronounced Hayes. Yep.
Okay, perfect.
Here.
Great, thank you. All right, next, approval of the November 12th, 2024 meeting minutes. Any corrections?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any corrections? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Election of officers, action on chairperson. Do we have any volunteers?
Yeah, so what we'll do, we'll just kind of take any nominations that people want right now. This is for the chairperson, and then we will be doing a vice chairperson. I did put in the appointment rules for this. I don't know if you need me to read them or anything like that, or unless everybody's had them. It really doesn't. It just, they're there. So we will take nominations for the chairperson at this time. So if you want to nominate somebody, or you can nominate yourself too, just speak up now, and then we'll give that a second, and then we can close that nomination. So is there any chairperson nominations?
Thomas, would you like to be nominated?
I can be.
I will nominate Thomas.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any other nominations for chairperson? Any other nominations for chair? Okay, with Thomas as the chairperson nomination, we will need a roll call vote on that, please. Michelle?
A roll call vote, did
Yep.
you say?
Yep, so just go through each one and have them vote.
Okay, Joyce Hall,
Yes.
Susie Corum,
Yes.
Dave Preisel, Scott Snyder,
Yes. Yes.
and Pat Nolan. Do I call Tom's name too?
Yes.
Okay,
He can
Tom
abstain if he
Bystricky.
wants.
Yes.
Okay, so we do have,
Did you
I
ask
think
Andy?
you forgot. Yeah, Andy was
Andrew.
missed.
Oh, and I'm apologies.
That's right.
Andy Hayes too.
Yes.
okay, so the chairperson is from now, this is Thomas, so action on vice chairperson. So do we have any nominations for vice chair?
I nominate Pat Nolan.
I'll second that.
Okay, any other nominations for vice chair? Any other nominations, vice chair? Hearing none, if we can get a roll call vote again, please, Michelle.
Okay. Joyce Hall,
Yes.
Tom Bystricky,
Yes.
Susie Corum,
Yes.
Dave Preisel, Scott Snyder,
Yes.
and Pat Nolan.
Yes.
And Andrew.
Andy.
Andy Hayes, sorry.
Yes.
Okay, so that motion is passed. So Pat Nolan is our new vice chair and Thomas is our new chairperson. So at this point, Thomas, you are up. So you will need to take over the chairperson duties, which basically is just read it and turn it over to me. So we're on number 4, new business.
All right, new business, action on the generator purchases for well number 4 and number 5.
Okay, so in your packet, this is a budgeted item in our 2024 budget. We're looking at two generators for wells 4 and 5, which currently don't have any. We did go out and get natural gas and diesel. You can kind of see I put together that quick summary. The only mistake I made on there was if you're looking at the summary at there, I have 125 kilowatt and they're actually 150 watts. So that was just a typo on my part. We would prefer natural gas. We just think that's kind of what we've been going through over the last couple of years. We think it's easier. There isn't as much maintenance, with diesel going bad, having to make sure that the tanks are full, making sure that they're ready for winter, everything that we have to do with that. So with that said, we did go out, Cummins, 2 natural gas, 150 kilowatt generators is 111,934.50. Interstate submitted 2 different units, a Gillette natural gas for $107,950. That's for 2 of them. The MTU natural gas for 2 of them is $123,950. And Fabic Cat, the natural gas for 2 of them is $103,600. That's with a $2,000 deduct per unit if we buy 2. So those are the prices on the generator. My recommendation is Fabic Cat. We just purchased 2 of those last year. If you remember, for the portables, we've had great luck with them. They're running fantastic. So, and Fabic Cat's been around forever. So
Yeah.
with that, my recommendation would be the 2 natural gas for $103,600 from Fabic Cat. Is there any questions on the
So
generator?
moved.
And all of them are that 2-year warranty. They're all very, very similar unless you get into a diesel, which is a 5-year warranty from Fabic. So
Kip, have you had to use the warranty on the ones purchased last year?
no.
No, okay.
And the ones that you've got already are natural gas as well?
Some of the ones at the plants are natural gas. These are permanent mount, so these will sit on a concrete slab at the facility. And those, yes, we have gone well 10, if you remember that when we put that in 8 years ago or so. That is natural gas, and I believe there's 1 or 2 other natural gas.
Kip, just curious, what are the 2 physical addresses? These,
Wells 4, let me see here, is 307th Street, and well 5 is 600 Lemon Street North.
okay,
All right,
Couple
I'll
of
make the motion to buy the 2 of the Fabic Cat natural gas generators for $103,600.
I'll second that.
All right, do we need to take a vote
Yeah,
on that?
yep. So then we just, all those in favor, aye. All those opposed, no.
So everybody in favor of that?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All
Yeah.
right, motion carries.
Yep, perfect.
All right, number 5 is your project updates and the status report for December.
So you can see that in your agenda packet. So my update is the Deer Path Tower rehab project that we're currently working on now, which will take place in the spring of 25. And I guess just for Andrew's sake, when we rehab, the majority of our towers in town have carriers on them, so cell carriers that we rent space to. When we do projects like this, those carriers actually have to come off of that tower so we can sandblast, paint, do what we have to do. And then once we're completed, they'll go back on the towers. So the picture that you're looking at there is the Deer Path Tower up in the village. The 2 poles that you're seeing there are the temporary poles that they've set up for the winter. So they can move, so all their stuff is moved over to those poles, and then once our project is completed, their equipment will be moved back. The well 7 rehab, we actually started that yesterday. Well 7 has been completed. It's been pulled. It was sent into the shop, looked at. Everything looked really good on that one. So basically that got pulled. It went to the shop, went back in, got reset, and that actually came back safe samples. So that was started, I believe it was I think it was yesterday they started that, yesterday or today. So, and then our water tower annual inspections, we had those done. They're inspections that we have to have done as a requirement of the Department of Natural Resources, where we have to have these looked at. They're on different schedules. It could just be a visual inspection. Some of them are required to get a ROV inspection, which is a remote operating vehicle. So they put a little submarine looking piece in there, or piece of equipment in there, and they kind of go around and camera everything. And then once these reports are finalized, then we'll get them. And basically it just helps us in the future with any things that we need to do, corrections that we need to make. If there's sediment in the bottom that we might have to have pulled out, things like that. So that's kind of just my report for December.
I have a question.
Yeah.
The temporary poles that we've got, do we own those or do we rent those?
No, those are owned by the carriers.
Oh, they're owned by the carriers.
Yes, yeah,
Oh, okay.
the complete, so the carriers is part of their contract. The carriers are responsible for moving their own equipment. So
Okay.
it doesn't cost us anything to have them come off and have them go back on. So yeah, that's all part of their contract where, once we tell them, we have to give them certain dates. I believe it's like a
Right.
6-month notification, so they can get everything set up and
Well, and
make
they
sure
know that
everything's
with
working.
with water towers that they're gonna have to be painted periodically.
Yeah, a water tower typically you can, if it's done correctly, you'll get 20+ years out of a water
Oh.
tower paint.
Uh-huh.
And this one I can't recall off the top of my head when it was last. It's in need. You can actually see just from the
Yeah, you
picture.
can see.
It's in need of some paint. But yeah, that's about 20-25 years is when you're probably expecting to go back in and redo these again. And this one's getting a complete rehab. So basically it's getting inside sandblast, outside sandblast. The top rail that is on the top of the water tower is going to be redone. There's some hatch work, the hatches that you come in and out of that are going to be redone. It's pretty much stuff that the specs have changed on towers in the last, since this tower was built, the specs have been changed. So basically we need to update everything to current specs that are required. So
Do the
anything else
carriers still pay us rent when they're on the towers?
Correct.
Good deal.
Well, they're on our land.
Yeah.
Yeah, they, for them, that little, I shouldn't say a little bit of rent, but yeah, they never balk at that. It's just part of their original contract when they sign it, that they know, at some point they're going to have to come off of there. So, but yes, they do continue to pay rent during that. Any other questions? Okay, otherwise, Thomas, we can move on.
And number 6, is there any other business for informational purposes or the upcoming agenda?
The only thing I really have is next month, you'll probably be seeing more of the building, the addition that we're putting on. You'll start seeing some more of that next month. And I think that's pretty much it that I have right now for next month, just for things that you'll see coming out.
Well, what about the big study that was being done by SEH on our system and stuff?
I'm actually good point. I'm actually have a meeting with them on Friday. So I will have way more information on Friday, and then depending on what comes out of that meeting, there could be some stuff that we're going to have to address, possibly in terms of what we actually want to do. Are we going to build a satellite plant? Are we building a whole new wastewater treatment plant to accommodate our future growth and things like that? Where is it going to be placed? What's it going to look like? Different things like that. So we're years out from doing this, but we are starting the process now. just, my simple reason is if we need land, we need to look for land now. The way land is being scarfed up and different things like that. So that's kind of a hurdle for us, that hopefully I'll have more information on, later this week. But yeah, good point, Pat. We will be talking about that. So hopefully I'll have something to bring forward, at least maybe an update on where we're at with that, for everybody, but we'll see what that meeting brings later this week. So
How many acres of land would we typically need for a treatment plant?
I'm being told 40.
40. How many
And the-
acres do we have downtown?
Yeah, not even close, but
No.
the reason is because of regulations.
Okay.
Setback regulations require an extremely large amount of land that we have to
Okay.
be so far away from homes, and there's all sorts of rules in there.
Okay, so the majority of it is setback and,
The majority of it is grass.
yeah,
The
okay,
plant itself on a 40 acre, I mean, if you can probably put a plant on, I don't know, less than 10 acres, I'm guessing. But it's all the setbacks that come into play. So. And I'll have all that information at some point. So that's pretty much all I got, unless anybody else has other business.
All right,
Okay.
great. Number 7 is our sewer and water utility cash reports.
Those are in your packet. Again, I apologize that they're kind of small. And that yellow shouldn't be there. So we will get, it happened one other time and it'll get cleaned up again. But your cash reports are in there. You just got to zoom in on them. So. Any questions on cash reports?
no, but I've got a comment that, the finance committee did approve, putting any delinquent bills on the tax, bills, so that's all taken care of.
Yep. Is everybody familiar with how that works? So at the end of the year, I believe Michelle, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was November, sometime in November. Middle November is when any delinquent utility bills that we have, we turn them over to the county. And the county collects it as part of their tax, when you pay your property tax, and then we get reimbursed, sometime later or sometime next year.
That's correct, yes.
And there's a penalty, I think it's a 10% penalty for,
Correct.
putting it on the tax bill too.
Yep. I
Yep.
want to see if my numbers are
That's gonna,
correct.
the 10% penalty is gonna be tacked on after October 31st too, is when that happens.
Okay. And I believe, what did do you remember, Joyce? Was it like 240,000 we submitted for somewhere?
I was
ballpark
thinking
around
somewhere
there?
around 233,000 or something like that was what I was thinking, but
Yeah,
yeah.
is what we submitted.
that's a lot of money to have out.
Yeah, but we'll get it. We'll get
Yep,
it
that's
back.
right.
All right, any other cash reports? Okay,
All right, number 8 is the approval of claims for all the utility payables.
Move to approve.
Second,
any
Okay,
questions on utility payables?
all in favor?
Aye.
I,
Anybody opposed? All right, that motion carries. And then if there's nothing else,
Yep, adjournment.
Move
we
to
can adjourn.
Yeah,
Second,
we do need a motion on that.
Yeah, Joyce
made the
made a
motion.
motion to,
Okay,
do I have a second?
second,
Susie did.
Wonderful.
all right, everything's adjourned.
No, all those in favor?
Everybody in
Aye.
favor?
I.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?